in the Sophie Cunningham attack. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Connecticut. Look like more evidence is definitely coming out of the pipeline in regards to Sophie Cunningham and Bria Hartley. Now, we know there was a situation that took place in the second quarter of the game, possibly at the 8-minute, 9-second mark. That is a Bria Hartley, diving into the knees of Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know that play has since went viral, and I'm here to tell you more news is coming out in regards to Bria Hartley, and it looked like she was kind of pleased with what she done.
The WNBA is back in the headlines, but this time it's not because of an incredible buzzer beater or a historic win. Fans are absolutely enraged, and all eyes are on one player, Bria Hartley. She has drawn intense criticism for a shocking and reckless on-court action that left Sophie Cunningham writhing in pain. As if the physical impact wasn't enough, Hartley went further by taunting Sophie immediately afterward, showing a complete lack of sportsmanship. And believe it or not, that's only the tip of the iceberg. There's even more to this story that has fans and analysts alike questioning the league's safety and discipline standards.
Over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision.
Let's take things all the way to Connecticut. It's the second quarter, with about 8 minutes left on the clock. Sophie Cunningham is driving hard on the court, showing her skill and determination, when suddenly Bria Hartley takes it to a whole new level. She's not just playing basketball, she's going after Sophie with full force. She goes low, aiming directly at Sophie's knees. Boom. Sophie hits the floor hard. This isn't just a typical stumble or accidental fall. It's a deliberate, vicious strike. Within minutes, the clip spreads like wildfire online, and what fans witnessed was far more than just a physical collision. It was an unmistakable, brazen attack that could have serious consequences for a player's career.
Since went viral, somebody sent me this late last night, and this is the face of Bria Hartley, man, laughing. She's laughing after colliding with none other than Sophie Cunningham. Evil, vicious, malicious. Just my goodness, bro.
Then came Hartley's shocking behavior. While Sophie lay on the court, clearly in pain and struggling to recover, Hartley stood there grinning as if she had just sunk the winning shot of the game. Fans were outraged. What unfolded was no longer just about basketball. It had crossed the line into something deeply personal. Social media erupted instantly, with people condemning her actions as malicious, reckless, and downright heartless. This wasn't a competitive play. It was a blatant display of disrespect and aggression. The backlash was immediate, intense, and unforgiving, leaving Hartley at the center of one of the most controversial moments in recent WNBA history.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
But it gets even more shocking from here. Usually, when an incident this severe occurs, the broadcast would pause to replay the hit, break it down, and debate whether it was intentional. But that didn't happen this time. Instead, the camera abruptly cut away. There was no acknowledgement of the gravity of Sophie's injury, no analysis of Hartley's reckless behavior, just a swift transition as if nothing had occurred. The WNBA's response, or lack thereof, was deafening. That silence sent a clear message, leaving fans and commentators stunned and questioning the league's priorities when it comes to player safety.
I don't know if the referees could have prevented the Sophie Cunningham injury. I'm going to be honest with that. I don't know if the referees could have done it. I don't know if it was intentional from Bria Hartley. I think if it was anyone other than Bria Hartley or Marina Mabrey on the Sun team, everyone would have just said, no, it's not intentional, it was completely accidental.
Then came the photo, captured at the very instant after the hit. Hartley was still wearing that unsettling grin, while Sophie writhed in obvious pain. That single image ignited a storm across social media, spreading like wildfire. It wasn't merely a snapshot. It narrated the entire story of Hartley's actions without saying a word. The photo was undeniable, leaving no room for doubt, and it brutally confirmed the deepest fears fans had been whispering all along. The impact of that image lingered, haunting discussions and dominating conversations everywhere.
Paula, at WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, officially my two favorite players in this league that I really love to, particularly love to pull for, they're both out now. And it did not look good.
The internet absolutely erupted, but fans didn't stop at just reacting. They started digging into Hartley's history. What they uncovered was shocking. This wasn't an isolated incident at all. There were multiple past episodes, reckless plays, and aggressive fouls that painted a clear picture of a troubling pattern. Social media users were quick to point out that this behavior wasn't new. This latest incident was just another chapter in a long, concerning story. As tensions soared, Sophie Cunningham's family entered the conversation, adding fuel to the fire. Her sister took to Twitter, openly calling Hartley a disgrace, while her mother joined in, labeling her a serious danger on the court. Their words hit hard, resonating deeply with fans and intensifying the outrage surrounding the situation.
There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
This wasn't simply another play on the court. It was a moment that brought a family's heartbreak into the spotlight, and it directly affected Sophie herself. She didn't launch a public outcry, but by retweeting her sister's words, she let her stance be known. In that quiet act, her voice was louder than any statement she could have made. Sophie wasn't just the victim in this scenario. She was powerfully and silently supporting her family's outrage. Fans noticed this and understood the gravity of the situation immediately. And now, amid all the uproar and scrutiny, one pressing question looms larger than ever. Why is the WNBA still standing by without taking any meaningful action?
Dirty, dirty Bria, of course. It had to be ya. Dirty, dirty Bria, I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again with her shenanigans, and this time around, she had her eyes set on one Sophie, the trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious. Would love to see you back on the court. Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in, even though
the league has long been criticized for its lenient approach to discipline.
A slap on the wrist
a fine
there.
here,
But when it's
a slap on the wrist there.
Injury,
but when a
where's
player
the action?
suffers a potentially career-threatening injury, where's the real accountability? This pattern of light punishment sends a dangerous message. If the WNBA doesn't establish a firm, uncompromising standard, incidents like this won't be rare, they'll keep happening. And that's a hard truth the league, its players, and its fans can no longer afford to overlook.
Player, and boy did it show up again today. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, and hit that bell notification. Listen, Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty she is.
Now, let's focus on Sophie's journey in the aftermath of the incident. While the physical pain was clear and immediate, the emotional and mental toll was even deeper. Athletes, particularly in women's sports, face enormous challenges already: intense media scrutiny, the constant fight for recognition, and the ongoing struggle to earn respect and financial stability. For Sophie Cunningham, Recovery wasn't just about healing a physical injury. It was about rebuilding herself after an attack that threatened her entire career. The question that looms over her story is profound. How does she find the strength to bounce back from something that shook her both on and off the court?
I think when it comes to Bria Hartley, I don't know if the intent is there, but she's completely reckless. Like, there are some players you can tell the intent is there when they have to go out of their way to, like, I think when it comes to Alyssa Thomas, you can tell when she hits someone hard that the intent is there. You can tell that she wants to hurt someone, or maybe not hurt somebody, but she wants to rough them up. With Bria Hartley, I don't know. She might just be completely out of control. So that's something, like, completely reckless is fine. And then Sophie Cunningham's sister. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, so Fowler.
The outrage wasn't limited to that single moment. It was fueled by what could have happened. Before this incident, Sophie Cunningham was celebrated as a fiery, relentless competitor, a player who never shied away from a challenge and someone fans adored cheering for. But now, she's become the symbol of something far bigger: the ongoing mistreatment and lack of protection for players within the WNBA. That reckless hit has, unfairly, turned into her defining moment, overshadowing all the hard work and talent she's shown throughout her career. It's a moment that no athlete should have to bear as a legacy.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
You can literally hear her screaming in pain. It's so heartbreaking. Indiana Fever star guard Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, had a lower leg injury today against the Connecticut Suns. It happened on this play. She's helping on defense, steps up, gets her legs tangled, goes down, ruled out for the game. The severity of the injury is right now unknown, but she had to be helped off the court.
Sophie is fighting for far more than just a return to the court. She's striving to ensure her name is remembered for her talent and dedication, not for a single, devastating incident. Fans have rallied around her, offering support and admiration. But the emotional and physical scars from that hit run deep. This is no longer just about Bria Hartley or Sophie Cunningham. It has become a reflection of the WNBA as a whole. The league's repeated failure to take decisive action in situations like this fosters an environment where players feel exposed and unsafe. And it raises a troubling question. What happens if other stars, like A.A. Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or Sabrina Ionescu, become the targets of similarly reckless plays? Where is the league's protection then?
And Sophie's mother, Paula, Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. So, what can you say? I do not blame Sophie's mother and sister for being upset. Marina Mabrey went nuts in this game, scored 27 points.
If the WNBA continues to turn a blind eye to these issues, it risks undermining the credibility it has worked so hard to establish over the years. Fans are no longer willing to stay silent. They're demanding decisive action. They are calling out the league for failing to protect its athletes and for allowing dangerous behavior to go unchecked. What fans want is a league that enforces accountability, where players face consequences for reckless actions, and where those at the core of the game, the athletes, are genuinely safeguarded. This isn't just about a single game or one player's ordeal. It's about the long-term reputation and future of the WNBA. Supporters are tired of empty gestures, social media statements, and press releases. They want real, tangible action, and they want it immediately.
I don't know how the Indiana Fever can continue to survive these things. Here you see Sophie Cunningham laid out on the floor, holding her knee. The lady was in tears, crying as Lexi Hull approached her to help her through this situation. I don't know if it's her knee. I don't know if it's her Achilles, the way she was kind of dragging her foot. I don't know. But Bria Hartley has had dirty plays all season. You got to know who we're talking about. Bria Hartley is the same girl Bria Hartley is the same woman that pulled Angel Reese out of there by her ponytail.
Social media can be a double-edged sword for athletes, and in this situation, it has proven to be both a blessing and a curse. On one side, it allows fans to voice their outrage and rally unwaveringly behind Sophie Cunningham, showing her that she isn't alone. On the other side, it becomes a relentless arena where players like Bria Hartley are subjected to intense public scrutiny and criticism. Yet, social media is also a powerful tool for driving change. The louder and more persistent fans are in, demanding accountability, the harder it becomes for the WNBA to ignore the issue. Athletes have always possessed more influence than they sometimes recognize, and in today's world, they aren't just competing on the court, they are shaping public conversation, setting cultural narratives, and forcing institutions to respond.
This is a play where Sophie Cunningham is dribbling toward the baseline. As you can see, she catches the ball in the wing, dribbles down, and then JC Sheldon kind of body checks her out of bounds, but the referee didn't call a foul there. He just called it an out of bounds, like Sophie Cunningham ran out of bounds is what he called. So you watch her here, dribbles, pushed out of bounds. Sophie's like, oh, of course, it's going to be a foul. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a foul. This one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, "They said I flopped, LOL." So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows. Somebody told her that she flopped on that play. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post.
Sophie Cunningham's calm yet powerful reaction to the attack on her knee perfectly demonstrates how athletes can use their voice and platform to create an impact that goes far beyond the court. Sophie didn't publicly call out Bria Hartley or make a dramatic spectacle of the incident. Instead, she quietly retweeted her sister's words, letting her support and stance speak for itself. While this action may seem subtle, in today's world of instant social media responses, it carries immense weight. Athletes like Sophie have the ability to redirect public conversation, shine a spotlight on issues that are often ignored, and challenge long-standing norms within their sport. Her response shows that influence isn't always loud. It can be deliberate, thoughtful, and profoundly effective.
WNBA has an issue with dirty play in this league. Dirty play skill masked as dirty play. It's disgusting. Bria Hartley doesn't even deserve to be on a roster in this league. Sophie Cunningham's family saying, "What's going on here? You guys are calling out Sophie Cunningham, finding Sophie Cunningham for calling out the officiating. Meanwhile, you're letting players just take dives at each other's." Again, Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt in this instance.
When Sophie chose to stand firmly behind her family's outrage, she did more than just voice a personal grievance. She amplified a critical message. Hartley's actions were not merely a misstep, they were a serious issue that demanded the attention of the entire league and its devoted fans. What makes this moment so powerful is that it establishes a benchmark for other athletes to follow. If more players take a page from Sophie's book, using their platforms to hold their peers accountable, it could mark a pivotal shift in how athletes protect one another and insist on fair treatment. Sophie's stance went far beyond representing herself. She became a symbol for every player who might one day face similar circumstances. She transformed into a unifying voice for the many, proving that individual courage can spark collective change. Advocacy like hers has the potential to reshape the very culture of sports, particularly within women's leagues, fostering an environment where accountability, respect, and solidarity are non-negotiable.
For the Indiana Fever, because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out. She is playing so incredibly well during the second half of this season. She plays hard every single night. She's super tough. She doesn't make excuses. She is somebody who has really held this team together, and seeing her go down in the first half, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was at first when I saw her went down. So let's break down the done. Like, they just can't get out of it. The morale of the team is done. Seeing Sophie go down, like, maybe this team just doesn't have any fight left in them. And I was actually ready to give them a pass as well. I was like, you know what? It's been a hard season. And at some point you might just have to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? We will get after it next season. It is what it is.
The reality is that women's sports, including the WNBA, are still fighting a long and difficult battle for equal recognition, respect, and fair treatment, both on and off the court. Despite the immense talent, dedication, and hard work these athletes put in, they continue to face systemic barriers that their male counterparts rarely encounter. Incidents like this one are not isolated. They are symptoms of a much deeper problem, one that has existed for decades. The fact that such serious situations are often dismissed, minimized, or brushed aside so quickly exposes the league's ongoing struggle to fully protect and value its players. The leadership of the WNBA, though well-intentioned in many ways, frequently seems disconnected from the day-to-day realities of professional female athletes. Many decision-makers have never played at the top levels themselves and therefore lack the first-hand experience necessary to understand the pressures, sacrifices, and unique challenges women face in a male-dominated sports industry. Those who are charged with protecting players and enforcing discipline often cannot fully empathize with the emotional, physical, and psychological toll that these athletes endure every season. This disconnect creates a gap between policy and reality, leaving players vulnerable in situations where they should feel safe and supported. If the WNBA truly wants to protect its athletes and continue growing as a premier professional league, it must start by amplifying the voices of those who have lived and breathed the game. The solution is both clear and urgent: more women in leadership roles. These leaders should not only possess the knowledge and experience to make informed decisions, but also the passion, understanding, and courage to advocate for what is right, even when it challenges the status quo. Bringing in former players, coaches, and advocates who understand the stakes can transform the league from within, creating a culture of accountability, transparency, and compassion. Female leadership at all levels, whether in the front office, coaching staff, or governance committees, is critical to ensuring that players' safety, respect, and well-being are prioritized above everything else. Protecting athletes goes beyond preventing physical injuries. It means cultivating an environment where players feel truly respected, valued, and heard, where their contributions on and off the court are acknowledged, and where their concerns are taken seriously. Women leaders can connect with players in a way that current decision-makers often cannot, bringing empathy, perspective, and lived experience to every decision. Ultimately, if the WNBA hopes to earn the recognition and respect it deserves on a global scale, it must embrace this shift in leadership by diversifying the voices at the table and empowering women who understand the game firsthand. The league can create a stronger, safer, and more respected environment. This is not just about improving policies. It's about changing the culture, protecting the athletes, and ensuring that women's professional basketball continues to grow and thrive for generations to come.
The officiating, we hear the concerns, we take that input, every play is reviewed, spend hours and hours and hours. Obviously, we use that then to follow up with officials, training. Consistency is important, I think. I think some people observe our game versus other basketball formats are that there aren't a ton of fouls called, but I realize consistency is the name of the game. So I think it's something we definitely, Doug, look at and evaluate. And there's an independent evaluation of our officials. There are ramifications. It's something we need to continue to work on.
The WNBA stands at a critical crossroads. After years of tremendous progress, expanding the game, increasing viewership, and raising the profile of women's basketball, the league now faces a moment that could define its future. How it responds to incidents like the Breer-Hartley, Sophie Cunningham situation will signal whether the league is prepared to protect its players and uphold its values or risk setbacks that could undermine years of hard work. This is not just another controversy. It is a defining moment in WNBA history, and the stakes could not be higher. The league must ask itself some hard questions. What kind of legacy does it want to leave? Does it want to be remembered as an organization that stood firmly for its athletes, actively defended them against dangerous play, and set clear standards for accountability? Or will it continue along a path of inaction and indifference, overlooking the serious issues that affect the very players who make the league possible? There is a legitimate concern that if the WNBA does not act decisively and swiftly, it risks alienating its most passionate fans, the supporters who care deeply about the game and expect that player safety and fairness are non-negotiable. Moreover, ignoring such incidents could erode trust among the athletes themselves, those who dedicate their lives to competing at the highest level. If the league fails to uphold standards and protect its players, it risks losing credibility with the very individuals who are the backbone of professional women's basketball. Yet, even in this moment of tension, there is hope. This situation could serve as a catalyst for meaningful reform. By acknowledging the need for stronger disciplinary measures, not only for players but also within its own leadership, the WNBA has an opportunity to emerge more unified, more transparent, and more respected than ever before. Fans demand accountability. Players demand protection. And now, more than ever, the league must listen. For the WNBA to maintain momentum, build trust, and grow the game, it must demonstrate that it is willing to hold its own accountable, even when that requires confronting uncomfortable truths and making difficult decisions. Fans want the league to be more than a product or entertainment. They want it to be a movement, a symbol of progress, and a true advocate for women in sports. Promises alone are no longer enough. Real action and tangible change are what will define the next chapter of the WNBA.
Outside of Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, it is extremely difficult to be positive about the WNBA. One of those stars has been injured all season, and it's highly unlikely that she is going to return this year. Sophie Cunningham has stepped up and carried the league in the absence of the Great White Hope, but now she's injured too. Many believe that their injuries are a result of dirty play. Throughout the season, fans and WNBA players, they have been begging the league to crack down on dirty players. But the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she is either incapable or she is unwilling to protect her star players.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about basketball. It's about the future of the WNBA, the safety and well-being of its players, and the integrity of the sport itself. We are witnessing a historic moment where the league faces a critical choice. Will it listen to the fans and players who are demanding meaningful change, or will it continue to treat its athletes as expendable, sending a message that their safety and rights are secondary? The silence surrounding the Bria Hartley, Sophie Cunningham incident speaks volumes, but the time for excuses is over. The WNBA can no longer hide behind ambiguity or inaction. It must make the difficult, necessary decisions that define true leadership. The league is at a tipping point. Continuing to ignore these issues jeopardizes not only player safety, but also the growth, credibility, and reputation of the entire league. Remaining passive sends a dangerous signal that fair play, accountability, and the protection of athletes are optional, not essential. But there is hope. If the WNBA steps up, if it enforces meaningful consequences, holds its players accountable, and demonstrates that no one is above the rules, it could mark the beginning of a new era in women's sports, one built on respect, fairness, and integrity. Now, the responsibility also lies with the fans. Your voice matters. Speak out. Demand accountability. Let the league know loud and clear that protecting its athletes is non-negotiable. Share this message, support players who advocate for change, and hold the WNBA accountable for its actions. This is a pivotal moment, and the decisions made today will resonate for years to come. The world is watching. Will the WNBA rise to the occasion, or will it continue to fall short? If you care about the future of the game and the safety of its players, make your voice heard today. Tweet, post, comment, and demand change. Stand with the players. Stand for accountability. Stand for the WNBA. Together, fans and athletes can shape a league that truly protects its own and sets the standard for the world of women's sports.